So it's always best to make sure you've got a nice white Tipex mark on your fan hub, and what you want to be doing is turning the engine anti-clockwise until you get the number 2 cylinder in the firing position. So you want to be going 180 degrees anti-clockwise. Now it's always best, if you've prepared beforehand, to make sure you've got your fan hub marked on the other side as well, at the 180 degree mark. You can achieve this with the engine in place or take the fan hub off. It's best to mark it in a different way. So if you pre-marked it, but in a different way, so you know which is the notch and which is the opposite side, and you want to take your white mark there back to 0. You want to be pretty precise on that. So there you go, you've got that in the right position there. And what you then have is your rotor pointing at the number 2 firing position. Then from here you need to get back into the van and follow exactly the same steps for the valve adjusting. Okay, so you follow exactly the same procedure. You back off the valve adjusting nuts for both your exhaust and inlet. You see it's nice and loose. The reason I'm doing this was my engine's new. I've done a couple of valve adjustments now. I want to get this done now. I'm starting to get a very slight rattling, tappety sound. So I'm guessing one of my valves was, or adjusters rather, was just ever so slightly loose. So you just want to feel again for that slight drag. Not too tight. That's nice. Get back in there with your 13mm spanner and nip that up nice and tight. It's one of those things, after doing this a few times, you find the first time you do it, you'll rip the skin off your knuckles. You get that on there nice and tight. Just double check. Again, it's always wise. You got it to the right adjustment. It's always wise to get your 0.008 and see if that'll go in. If that goes in, you've got it too loose. Okay, and what you don't want to do is get it where your 0.006 is tight in there, or you'll end up with a tight valve. Very often that's going to lead to you ripping the valve head off, or because obviously over time the valve stem will stretch. Well, that's nice in there. And again, just once you put your 0.008, just make sure it doesn't go in. Get back to the size you should be at, and that's just that slight drag, and that's nice. And then back onto here. Again, this is a job where really you need 3 hands. You can't. It's good if you can get the van up in the air onto ramps or use a pit. I'm showing you this way because this is something you need to be able to do out on the road. You can get stuck in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in Cornwall or wherever, some country lane, and find you've got a major problem with a valve that needing adjusting, you'll always tell because it sounds like the rat-a-tat-tat of a kid's toy machine gun. This thing's a bit too loose in there. This one's always fiddly to get to because you've got the engine bar in the way. Okay, no, a bit too loose. Okay. And again, hold the adjuster with your screwdriver, get your 13mm spanner. Just nip that up nice and tight. That's a bit too loose. You can tell straight away it's not dragging on there. So just to confirm that. Yeah, that fits. So just need to back that up again and readjust. Just get it a little bit tighter. Get your 0.6 in there again with one of your 3 hands. Nip that up just a little bit more. Spanner back on there. That's better. You just feel that drag there. Means it's just about right, but again, you really need to just do a quick check just to confirm. Okay, so the 0.008 won't go in there, and the 6 just goes in, and it drags just ever so slightly, nicely. It's not biting, movement's free in there. And that's the job done. Then you want to replace your valve cover. It's always a good idea if this is your last valve check for the next few hundred or a couple of thousand miles. It's always a good idea. Get a brand new gasket. Get some nice clean engine oil on your fingers. Smear it around both edges of the gasket. Put the new gasket in place. When you put your valve cover on, inside the valve cover you'll see a little VW stamp. You always want to have that VW stamp upside down when it's located on the engine. I don't know why, but the valve covers always seem to fit a lot better when that's upside down. If you find you've still got leaks from around here, don't put gasket glue or anything like that onto there. What you want to do is just remove this bail, give it a nice little bend in the middle using a vise, just to offer a bit more tension. You should hold it all nice and snug. Okay, so from there you want to move on to number 3, followed by number 4. Again, take your 22mm spanner, exactly the same procedure. You want to be turning your engine anti-clockwise. What you'll then find is, once you've done that, okay, get that to 0 on your timing scale, then move on to number 3, followed by number 4. Job done.